Well, hello, everyone. This is Steve Draper here in Bellevue, Nebraska. And today you're watching me because you want to know what to do, where to go to get parts and other help now that Shopsmith has closed their doors. So, to give you a little bit overview on what I'm going to talk about today, uh, the people I'm talking to here are those of you who need parts for your machine to repair them, or you need to order some accessories, which you cannot order from Shopsmith anymore because they're closed. And so the first thing I want to let you know is that, Shopsmith, the parts that they use in their machines, they're not manufactured right there in their plant in Dayton, Ohio. They get those from other suppliers. And so you want to know what those suppliers are so you can go there and get those parts. Now, some of the parts they do make themselves there in Dayton, Ohio. And I'll talk about which ones those are and what the alternatives are for you for getting parts for those items that are proprietary that they actually made right there in the plant in Dayton. So I'll just tell you, I would not wait to see if the company is going to be bought out in its entirety. I do know at this point there's about 19 people that have expressed interest in different parts of the assets of the company, and how it will turn out, we just don't know at this point. So let's get on with it here. Okay, so what I'm sharing with you here now is one of their catalogs, the last printed one they had, which had all the commonly ordered parts, service parts for your machine. This is from the 2008 printed catalog, which was the last full catalog that Shopsmith printed. And so the parts that you may be looking for your machine, if it's not working, are belts, bearings, switches. So I'm going to go through a few of those with you here. So first of all, I want you to look here at B, which is the Gilmer belt. The only people that will need this kind of belt are people who had the old machines that were made by Magna back prior to 1960, and so and it will have had that 3/4 horsepower motor in it. So most of you are not going to be in that category. Very few of you are. Most of you will be in a category where you might need a motor drive belt, which is item C here, or a poly V belt, which is item D here. Then some of you may need a switch. There's two types of switches depending on when your machine was made. If your machine was made quite a while ago, you would have the toggle type switch, which is item L there in the picture. And if you had some of the machines that were made in the 90s and later, then you would probably have the switch. There's item number K here in the picture. Then another item that you possibly might need is items G, H, and I. The speed control assembly, the quadrant assembly, and the control sheave assembly. Those three items are items that Shopsmith made themselves. Okay, so those items you're not going to be able to go to a supplier to find those items, but I'll talk about where you can go to find those items as well. Also, some of you probably want to know, well, what if I just want to take my machine to somebody and have them fix it for me? Do I still have an option now that Shopsmith's closed and I can't send my machine to them? Yes, there are options there, and I'm going to show you what those are. What I'm showing you now is a table that I've made that shows you those common items there, right there, the spreadsheet. And move that around a little bit, see if I can. No, that's not going to do anything. Okay. Now, I can't tell here on my screen. Looks like my image is covering up part of that spreadsheet. So if you need to see some of those numbers and can't read them, tell me and I'll tell you what those numbers are. So I've got the part numbers for each of those items there next to it. The motor drive belt and the poly V belt, there's two different part numbers. Either one will work for the motor drive belt or the poly B belt. The first column, the B column, that was what the part numbers were. The belts were up until fairly recently. The C column is ones that came a little bit later. Both belts work just fine, so don't worry about when you go out to look for parts. The cross-reference number, if you have either number, they're going to work just fine in your machine. Okay. So now I'm going to go to sources for the belts and some of the wearing parts. Where I go, if I need them and I can't get them from Shopsmith, or where those who have repair shops where you can take your machine in and have them repair it for you, where the places where they go to get these same parts. And so I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to go up here. What I'm going to share with you here is some sellers on eBay that's do parts. And I'd say what I've done here, and you can do the same thing if you go on eBay, you can save certain sellers. And the sellers here that I'm showing you on this screen are, I've bought parts from every one of these sellers at some particular time over the years for my machine for some reason or another. So let's start here with the Bandsaw Tire Warehouse. If I go in here, we can visit their store, and you can see right here, and if you're doing a search on here, they show here that they have 12,955 items for sale in here. And if I go in to do the search on here, start with Shopsmith for search. And that narrows it down. That tells me they have 239 parts listed for a Shopsmith machine. Now, if I want to further refine that and type in belt, there, now I get belts, and they give me, you see right here, here's the 50419 drive belt right there that's listed for sale. Go down a little bit further. Here's a Gilmer belt right here, you can see, for $28.95. These are all brand new belts. They have these manufactured to Shopsmith specs, so they are brand new belts. Many times, oftentimes, higher quality than the ones that Shopsmith actually used in their machines. Here you can actually get a pair of them, and I'll just let you know this store doesn't have just one copy of them. So if you go into, let's pick this first one here, this Poly B and drive belt here, brand new. They say here they've got more than 10 available, and they've sold 773 of them. So you're not going to have to worry about them running out of parts, of wearing parts that you need for those types of things. So I'm going to go back now here to, if I want to actually go in and do a part by number, you can search it that way too. So I'm going to, it's a little smaller so I can look at that table that I showed you earlier. So the motor drive belt is 521682. So if I do the number in here, 521682, there we are. They actually pulls it up actually by number. So this can be a very good source for getting your belts, also for bearings. So let's go in here, and I'll show you. I'll type in bearings now. And they've got all types of brand new bearings, manufactured to Shopsmith specs. Right here is the bandsaw backup bearings. So rather than since you can't buy that kit from Shopsmith anymore, you can go right here and buy the same or better bearings right here. They even have them here for 10 ER drive bearings. You can get an entire set of bearings and belts. So a lot of different options here for different bearings. This one here is one that's interesting. The Shopsmith Mark V sheave button bearing. That's an item you never could buy from Shopsmith. They never made that part available, but you can buy it here to repair the sheaves if that's what's broken on your sheaves. When Shopsmith was operating, you had to buy the entire sheaves if you wanted to get that with the sheaves. So you actually have some more options now available that you may not have been aware of that you have available before. Okay, then so that is that particular one. Now I want to go to a different supplier. So I'm going to wrong one. Let's go back here. Go back to my list of suppliers. So here, so that was Bandsaw Tire Warehouse that I just showed you, that particular seller. Now let's go down here. Some of these other sellers that I have here, I'm going to show you the next one by size. Ogre 68. This one, they have a lot of things in a lot of shops with things of all different categories that you can go to and buy. So if I visit their store, it's right here. And again, he's got 567 items for sale. Let's see how many of them are Shopsmith. Okay. Okay, now those of you who are watching out there while I'm doing this live, if you're seeing what I'm trying to make you see, which is the over 68 eBay page, I appreciate if one of you put something on a chat telling me that you're seeing it, so I know that you're actually seeing what I'm trying to show you. So I see James and Ken, you're both on here. If one of you could just let me know, or if you're seeing this okay, good. It says we see it. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Okay, so here I am on Ogre 68. I'm going to make this go to full here. And in this one, they've got 250. Let's go back. They said this one here, Shopsmith. They got 255 Shopsmith items. And let's see how many total items they have. So about half of their items for sale are Shopsmith. You get 567 items. And when I put in Shopsmith, it shows me that we've got 255 results for Shopsmith. Now, when you go and look for these, you can sort them in a number of different ways. So we go in here where it says, on the right here, sort. Right now it's sorted by best match. If I want to sort these by price, the lowest first, then I do that, and it's going to show me in ascending order the items that they have. Now, but I don't even have to do that. What if I'm looking for a belt? Let's see if he even sells belts. And he does, but I don't know. These particular belts, he doesn't have the part number on it. It looks like they're kind of a make-do one you would do if you can't get any other for your Shopsmith. So it says it's compatible. The thing you need to be careful on these type on here is oftentimes the width of the belt is not the same as it was on the original Shopsmith belt. So be careful on those, if you would. Okay. So let's go back here and see if he sells any bearings. And he's not selling any bearings. Okay. So let's go back to Shopsmith again. Okay. So this would be a source I would use for things other than the wearing parts, like the belts and the bearings. Now, let's do something like the quadrant, see if he sells those. And I don't see anything for the quadrant. Let's look and see if he sells anything for speed control assembly. And he doesn't have any of those. And let's see if he has any sheaves, control sheaves. Okay, none of those. Okay, let's see if he had any switches. And no switches. Okay, so this would be a place you're probably going to look for things other than those wearing parts. So I'm going to switch here. The search right now. Let me see here where we're at. Nope, wrong one. I'm going to do my orders different one here. Here, go back to Shopsmith. No, we're not done here. Shopsmith. And again, I'm going to order this by highest order first now. Highest priced item down. Okay. So you see here, he has a PowerPro headstock for sale. I can see that it's the Generation 1 right there. This one here, he claims that it's never used. I would be, when people tell you that headstock's never been used, question them on it, please, because I think this one's like, when I looked at it, I think it's like made in 1992. It's highly unlikely one made in 1992 had no use on it, but you know, you may be fortunate and find out that actually there is no use on it. Okay, and so here's a Jointmatic. In fact, I just bought the one of the accessories of the Jointmatic from him. It was brand new. This one that he says here's brand new, and I looked at it. It is. It has never been used. So this can be a good source for other things, and you can see a lot of the other parts that here that he has for sale that you're not going to be able to get from Shopsmith anymore. But now you can go here and see what other items that you may need. Now these items here I'm showing you here, they're going to be one of each. They're not going to be multiple quantities like we saw over on the belts and bearings page. Okay, so that's the end of that one. Let me go back now to my saved sellers, and I'll show you some of these others. So those are the two largest, Bandsaw Tire Warehouse and Ogre 68. They're two largest Shopsmith selling stores on eBay. These others are smaller ones, but I have bought things from them from time to time. BritGen, this particular one, there's only 58 items in the whole store right now that she has, and I don't know if it's a he or a she, but in any case, so I look down here and you can see the items here. There's some nice, interesting items here. There's a brand new motor and Shiva I saw two of these in here. One that looks like does rebuilds on them, and also does some that haven't been used. So this can be another source for you to look for. You can see some of the various items here that are available in that particular store as well. There's here. This is single bearing quill here. So you can go to that site and see what other items you might like from that one. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to go here now to Brown Bear. This one here. Brown Bear has 1,351 items in his store. Let's see how many are Shopsmith. Only 27 Shopsmith items on here. Okay, and nice thing here on his pricing, he does free shipping. Looks like here, even on headstock, free shipping. So that's kind of a nice thing on that one. So I've bought things from him. I've had good results with all these sellers that I'm showing you here. And then let's go back. My last one. And again, he's only got 24 items in his whole store. Okay. Now there's other stores that I've bought things from over the years from Shopsmith, and their store no longer exists. So that's the common, can be very common. A person will, do that for a certain period of time, then they will decide they're not doing it, don't want to do it anymore. Okay. So the other option you can have besides looking at these specific stores, which is where I would recommend you looking first on eBay, is that then rather than looking at a specific store, we can go up here and search all of eBay for Shopsmith. So if I do a Shopsmith belt, this will show me all of eBay. There's two results in all of eBay. And you can see here, they tell you who the store is here. Ansel Tire Warehouse right there. Comes up top on the list, several listings, but there are some other individual sellers that even though, well, we got a belt sander comes up because we put in belt is what we put in there. But let's put in bearings and see what we get here. So here's, again here. Okay, 505 Smith Repair, I'm going to talk about that. I'll talk about it a little bit because they're one of the stores you can go, one of the places you can go to if you want to take your headstock in and get it repaired. And I'll talk about them a little bit when I get to places where you can take your machine in for repairs. Okay, so I think I pretty much covered here going to eBay to look for these types of things. The other source that you can go, and I'm going to share that particular screen with you. I'm going to close that here, and we're going to share this one, the Facebook Marketplace. I'm going to share this one. Facebook Marketplace. So when you go in here to search Facebook Marketplace, you don't have to belong to any particular Facebook groups to use this and find items that you need for your machine. That's the nice thing about Marketplace. Now, they may also be listed in a particular Facebook group that's a private group, but you don't have to belong to any of those groups in order to find these things. So, for example, here, if I just search Marketplace for Shopsmith, okay, I'm going to open it. Here we are. All these things come up for Shopsmith on Facebook Marketplace. And for example, these top ones here that you see in the top of the screen, that whole first row, that's my store where I sell. Primarily all the things I sell on Shopsmith are brand new items. I don't really get into doing used items. So when I find things that are brand new, I will, if I get a good price, I'll acquire them and sell them. But all these others here, you can type it by specifics if you want to. Instead of doing Shopsmith, let's just do a Shopsmith speed reducer. So you're looking for a Shopsmith speed reducer. Let's see if there's any for sale. Now, one of the things you gotta know here, when you look on Facebook, you can filter it. So you see here on the left where it says filter, I'm looking within 250 miles of where I live. Okay, so if you want to go look out further when you look on Facebook for these items, make sure you sort over here, and I'm going to change here my radius to 500 miles. Now I'll get even more listings by doing within a 500-mile radius of where I'm living here. So that's what you have to do when you go and look for things on Facebook. Let's see. So there's no listings for Shopsmith Speed Reducer. So it says here, if you want to be notified when one of those comes up for sale on Facebook Marketplace, you can put on here notify, and Facebook Marketplace will notify you when one comes up for sale. And any particular item you're looking for, you can do that. Also on eBay, eBay has the same option. You can tell it to notify you when an item like that comes up for sale, and they will tell you that when it comes up for sale. Okay, so no speed reducers. Let's see if there's any planers available out there. Here we go. Several planers. One here, about $599.95. Looks like this was not very good shape. I guess he probably wants you to contact him. United States Air Force Academy. Let's look at that one. That's interesting. How about that? That's a Shopsmith mounted one. Trying to downsize and wanting to get rid of the Shopsmith attachments I inherited. Here, okay. I can load, but you'll need to pick it up. So you just send him a message and tell him you're interested and see how much he wants for it. He listed for $1. He's not selling it for $1. He wants somebody to give him some offers. That's why he listed for that. Okay. All right. So those are some examples there. Now this is one interesting. This one here in Bettendorf, Iowa. I looked at this one. This is an entire brand new Mark 7, still in the box, never been uncrated from the box. Never been out of the box. Pippuckham, Galesburg, Illinois, and the Quad Cities. I grew up in Bettendorf, Iowa. That's where I grew up. Well, he's asking $4,500. It's been listed for 21 weeks, and not going to get any takers at that price because there's no warranty on it. If it needs any warranty work, you're not going to be able to get it. Something like this, if it were me and I was looking for it, I wouldn't pay any more than $2,000 for it, just because it's got no warranty on it. And but anyway, so these are options you can look at for looking for accessories for your machine. Here is these two sources here. Okay, so now I'm going to stop sharing that one, and I'm going to go out here and check to if you want to take your machine in and get it repaired. Have someone else fix it for you. You just don't want to mess with it. Okay, there's several places you can go to do that. And the first one I'm going to go to is one that I have used. I've actually sent my headstock into this one, and he's rebuilt it for me and sent it back. Does terrific work. I would say of all the ones that do this type of work, he's the best. There is nobody that has more experience here than it's called Authorized Shopsmith Repair. And I need to share the screen with you so you can see what I'm looking at. Here we are right here. Share. Okay. Authorized Shopsmith Repair. So I want to go here to the About. Okay. I'm going to read this out loud to you. Welcome to the Authorized Shopsmith Repair, a factory authorized repair center for Shopsmith Mark 5. Mark, I think he means, I don't know what it says, Mark 6, Mark 7, Power Pro, 10ER machines, and more. We're committed to providing the most quality repairs along with expert advice to the U.S. and internationally. The owner, this is the important part here. James Hott began working with Shopsmith in 1984 and has general machine repair experience that dates back to the 1960s. In 1993, being a master woodworker, where he began teaching the skills of the trade for Shopsmith stores. #1 repair facility in the U.S. offering premium repair, overhaul, and tune-up services along with a 2-year warranty. So now James, he's of retirement age now, but his grandson has been working with him all along, and his grandson is taking over the business. And James has taught him everything he knows about working on his machines. So even though James is of retirement age, this company's not going anyplace because his grandson wants to continue the same tradition that his grandfather established many, many years ago. Okay, so back when Shopsmith years ago had repair facilities, this is one of the repair facilities that Shopsmith would send people to, send their machines to have done when they didn't have time or did not have or they had too much demand and couldn't meet it at their store in Dayton. Okay, so this one, nice thing on his site is he has tons of videos in here that if you want to get parts and do it yourself, you can look at his videos, and they're over on YouTube, but you can see him here also. How to take apart the Shopsmith Power Pro, how to fix error codes. I mean, he has tons of videos in here on how-to videos, which is excellent. This here on his right is James. This on the left is his grandson. Okay. All right. Now, one thing I will tell you about this particular one, all they do is repair machines. they don't sell parts. So if you just want to order a part, you're not going to be able to go to this place to get them. They go out and buy them from other sources, just like you might go out and buy them from other sources. So, but one of the things that they do have unique here is that they announced not too long ago is a trade-in program where if you don't want to wait to have your machine repaired, you can just give them your machine and they'll give you another one in its place that's already working perfectly and has been completely refurbished and is back to new condition and give it to you with a 2-year warranty. And I don't know of anybody else out there who's doing that. So as I said, I've had them do work for me. They do excellent work. Okay. Then on here, he talks about different types of repair, what he does on each of the repairs. Very thorough, very good, frequently asked questions. So this is well worth your looking at. Okay. Now I'm going to sharing. I'm going to close this one out. And the next one I'm going to look at, these next two I have not used. So I cannot vouch for them personally, but I know they've been around a long time and they've been doing this work for a long time. So the next one I'm going to look at is Alex's Shopsmith Repair Shop. First of all, the previous one I showed you, James Hopp at Authorized Shopsmith Service, he's located in North Carolina. Okay. Alex's Shopsmith Repair Shop, he's located in Albuquerque, New Mexico, over on the other side of the country. So if you're over in that area, this might, and don't want to have to ship it as far, this is an option to you. So one thing nice about Alex is he actually does sell parts. Okay, and he's got parts listed right here on his site with the prices. And so here we are. Here's replacement power switch right here for both the old style machine and the new machine. Belts. He's got refurbished speed controller assemblies. I don't know how many he has in stock, but he sells them. Different bearings, quadrant assembly, tire motor sheave sets, number of different parts, all that are parts that are that when machines need repaired, these are the types of parts that people would have gone to Shopsmith for. Now that Shopsmith is not available as a source for parts anymore, his inventory may go down. But I'm going to talk about where people are going to get some of these parts, the proprietary parts going forward, now that Shopsmith is gone, particularly the speed controller assembly, the sheave assembly, the quadrant assembly, and the motor sheaves assembly. Those items. I'll talk about those in a little bit. But Alex also will do complete rebuilds or repairs on machines as well. So I'm going to go over here back to his homepage. So this is his homepage. He does give a discount for veterans and seniors 60s and older. He's got various levels of work you can have done. And let's look over here, service options. So you can schedule free inspection. So if you bring your machine in, he'll inspect it for free, and then he'll give you an estimate of what it needs and how much it's going to cost to do it. I think currently he's out for the rest of October. I don't know what he's doing, but he said he's not taking any new work until the end of October. But this is the shop for parts here that I showed you already. Service options, headstock repair service. Here's the level levels. What do you have different levels depending on what it needs. You just want a tune-up, $80. Restorative peak performance, 180 plus parts. And then he can rebuild machines. Okay. And so I want to go to the, I know he's been doing this work since 1990. So he's been doing this work for about 35 years. So he definitely knows what he's doing. Been doing this for 35 years. And I know he has a number of testimonials from different peoples as well, customer reviews. You can go in and look at if you want to go and read other people's reviews. Okay. So the next one I'm going to show you is out in California. I'm going to show the, let's see here. Did I forget to share you guys on that one? Let me look here. I'm going to go back through that again. I don't really, tell me if, did you see that screen for Alex's? All of you out there, did I forget to show it to you? So somebody let me know. Name of the company in Albuquerque again. It's called Alex's Shopsmith Repair Shop. I'm going to put this up here again so you can see this. All right, let's see here. You see, okay, good. So everybody's seeing it. Okay. Here we are right here. Okay. So customer reviews you can look at. Okay. It's called Alex's Shopsmith Repair Shop, but the address for them, if you look up here in the address line, is 505smithrepair.com. That's the website address that you need to go find. But if you go into a search for Alex's Shopsmith Repair Shop, it'll come up that way as well if you want to look for this particular one. Okay, so now the last one I'm going to go here is this one in California. So I need to put on sharing for this one. This one here. This one here. They're located out in the California area. I did call him on the telephone, and he is still doing this work. I'll just let you read some of the about on here. You can see the background. He has a similar background as James Hop. Go here about. There's another page here that gives a little bit more information. I'm going to find that for you here. Here we go. Started working with Shopsmith Machines when I worked with Shopsmith Corporate Store in Foster City, California back in 1983. Started in the shop rebuilding Mark V machines as a 20-year-old kid. Eventually got so good I was promoted to assistant store manager, and I opened Sacramento, California Shopsmith Corporate Store in 1989. Myself and Ron Young ran the store, and we were always one of the top performing stores. Just before Shopsmith closed all of their stores, I was promoted to Shopsmith store manager at the Phoenix, Arizona store. Store's performance at the time was near the bottom of the list. With some guerrilla marketing techniques, we turned the store into the #1 Shopsmith store, beating out the Sacramento store where I just transferred from. It says, I'm currently in El Dorado County in beautiful foothills of Sierra Nevada. That hasn't been updated for a long time. He's actually in a different city now, but that's immaterial. He says, well, I get phone calls for Shopsmith. I only do Shopsmith repair. Okay, so you're not going to be able to order parts for him, but you can have him do some repairs for you. So, for example, right here, a headstock tune-up, $270. Headstock tune-up. They'll check the bearings and base, adjust the speed stops, clean and lubricate, blow off the motor, inspect the motor wires. Includes disassembly and reassembly of the casing, belt cover, motor fan assembly, pulley system, speed control assembly, sheaves, and quill. No electrical testing will be done. Okay, on that one, on that particular item. If you do a rebuild, that's for one that has a single bearing quill. Okay, that's going to be we can rebuild your Shopsmith. Okay, so you can purchase it right here, right now, with a Poly V belt, $569.95, and go to the checkout for it. He currently this is done. He has a hardware store there. It's called Churchill's, a hardware store, and where he has a hardware store, but he also will rebuild Shopsmith for you as well. So as I said, I've not used him, but he's been around for a long time. And I called him on the telephone, and he says, yeah, that even though Shopsmith's closed, they can still they're still doing the work, provided they can find the parts that are needed for working on a machine. So that's all of the ones that I have for taking your machine in and having the work done. Now, there's one other I'll mention. You may have someone in your local area that does it. For example, I know that Hank Rasmussen out in Connecticut, who rebuilds machines, but he doesn't. Well, he does the same thing as James does. If you got a machine that needs work on it, he'll just do a swap out. He'll give you one that's working. That's how that's what he does. So you may find some people in your local area that do that kind of thing. There may be some people out there that just aren't advertising that are doing it, and that's another source for getting your machines worked on. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing now. I forgot if I shared that last one or not. Let's look again. Shopsmith Repair Service. I'm going to show this again, just in case you didn't see it. This is a Shopify store, okay? And you can see the address up here, shopsmith.myshopify.com. That's where his store is at. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing that. Terry Molander, you said what's the name of the company in Albuquerque again? I'll just type it on the screen here. Alex is. I'm just going to go ahead and find it and then copy and paste it easier. Here we go. I will copy that. Look over here and we'll paste that in there. So paste. There's that one. Okay. So that's for Alex's. I don't know if you covered it earlier, but where can we get the planer and joiner knives and bandsaw blades? Okay, Joe Council asked that question. Okay, planer knives. One thing you need to know about the planer knives for the Shopsmith planer is that those have a taper in them, so that they won't come out when they're spinning, and so those were made specifically to Shopsmith specs. You're not going to find another source of those. So I do have, I think, 3 or 4 of those sets brand new in the package, which I will be putting up on my store. I bought a bunch of them from Shopsmith back when they went on sale because I knew that this day was going to come. So I will be putting those for sale up on the store. Now, I also have a cutter head for complete with the knives that I'll be putting up on my store. That I'll be putting up on my store, and that came out of my planer because I upgraded it to a helical cutter head on it, so that's why I don't need that anymore. As far as joiner knives, same thing on the joiner knives. All the joiner knives were made specifically for Shopsmith with that taper on them, and so you're not going to find somebody else that does it with the taper. I know some people have put in regular knives without the taper and have said they work okay. I just don't have any experience with that. And as far as the bandsaw blades, you can get those from just about anybody. You don't have to get special bandsaw blades for the Shopsmith. You just need to get them with the correct length. I think that's 72 inches, but I may be wrong on that. So there's a number of places that sell very good bandsaw blades, so you don't need to go to any special place to get your bandsaw blades. I know that Scott Markwood, he uses Timberwolf. I use I use one from Highland Woodworking for all my resawing that I really like. And but you have a lot of options. You don't need to go any special place for your bandsaw blades. Okay, James Hall says, I don't see anything. Now I do. Okay, there we go. Okay. All right. So I think I've covered everything that I plan to cover in this session. And I think I've answered everybody's questions. And so if you have any questions that I haven't answered, you want answered, feel free to send me an email. I'll put that right up here in the chat. So you have that, my email address, paper at. So there's my email address. If any of you want to contact me, I check my emails multiple times a day. So I'll get right back with you if you have any questions on that. Okay. I also do have. I want to mention one other thing. I also do have besides this channel, which is Shopsmith Mark 4/7/520. I have a Facebook group by the same identical name. I have uploaded some documents to the files section you're not going to find any other place. One is the Mark 7 manual, the Mark 4 manual, and the Mark 520S manual. All three of those manuals are on my Facebook file section of my Facebook group. You're not going to find that on any of the groups out there. In fact, unless not very many people downloaded those manuals, even though they were available for free download from Shopsmith when it was up. I don't know of anybody besides me that has downloaded it. So if you want, those particular ones, just join my Facebook group and you can access those files and download them. And I will be putting some other things like that up there, documents as well. So I think that's it for today. And good luck on keeping your Shopsmiths up and working and running and keep using them. They're great machines and they're still going to be around for a while. So have a great day, everybody.